So if object is not there in a sentence, then the verb in that sentence is intransitive verb. The formula is very simple, that if there is object, then it is transitive. If there is no object after the verb, then it is intransitive. What if you are asked to change from passive to active? See, to change the voice from passive to active, all the rules studied so far are just to be reversed. Hello everyone, this is Shobita S. Aradhya, lecturer, Department of English, Vidhyaashram First Grade College, MYSURU, the Temple of Excellence. A warm welcome to you all. Today we are discussing active and passive voice. Do you know the rules to change active voice to passive voice in English, or vice versa, passive voice to active voice? There are certain rules which has to be followed. But before we go to active and passive voice, let us know how the verbs work, which are the transitive verbs and which are intransitive verbs. What is a sentence? What are phrases? If we know all these, only then we can work properly with active and passive voice. So let us start the session with active and passive voice. In this session, we will be discussing what is a sentence, what is a phrase, what are transitive verbs and what are intransitive verbs, and also there are places where verbs are used both as transitive and intransitive. So we'll be learning verbs when they are used as transitive and when they are used as intransitive verbs. All these we'll be learning in today's session, and after we learn this, we'll go to active and passive voice. What is a sentence? You must be knowing because you have learnt what is a sentence since your first standard of schooling, correct? So, sentence is a group of words arranged in a meaningful manner. So, if it is not arranged in a meaningful manner, it cannot be a sentence. So, sentence has to be in a proper order. The words in the sentence has to be placed in a proper order. Otherwise, it won't give you complete meaning. So, a sentence is a group of words arranged in a meaningful manner. It also called as an independent clause. So, a sentence is called independent clause because it do not depend on any other clause, any other part of the sentence. It should be complete. It should be completed with a full stop. Only then it is called a sentence. A sentence necessarily has a verb in it. This is a must. Every sentence will have a verb. Why do we talk? Why do we frame sentence? We want to tell the action. We frame a sentence to tell some action which has occurred. So, to tell the action, we need verb. So, what is verb? Verb is the action word. It indicates what has happened or what will happen. Correct? So, verb is action word. So, here in every sentence, there should be a verb. It can be in any language. Verb is important. Verb will be there in every sentence. Example, he is reading a book. So, what is the action? Reading is the action. Correct? So, he is a pronoun. Book is a noun, and is auxiliary verb, and which is the main verb? Reading. A is an article. So, see, in a sentence, we find a pronoun, auxiliary verb, article and a noun. So, we need to identify which is the verb first. Hope you have understood. Any action word in the sentence is always a verb. Okay? Reading, sitting, sat, write, wrote, read, all these are actions done. Correct? Teach, taught, it can be in any tense. Remember, tenses can be changed only to verbs. Past tense, present and future tense. So, here this is in continuous tense, right? Present continuous tense. So, the tenses are indicated only through verbs. Now, what is phrase? What is the difference between a sentence and a phrase? A phrase is a group of words that has no meaning in it. This is also a group of words. See, This is also a group of words. Sentence is also a group of words. But how it is arranged? So, here it is arranged in a meaningful way, but here it do not have complete meaning in it. There is some meaning, but not the complete one. It also has no verb in it. Usually in phrase, it is not necessary to have a verb. Okay. So, let us see the example here. On the table. Is there any verb here? No. On is preposition, the is article, table is noun. There is no verb in this phrase. This is phrase. There is some meaning. On the table. What on the table? What is kept? What to do on the table? It is not complete. The sense is not complete in this group of words. So, it is called as phrase. Okay. This is the difference. Sentence is a group of words but arranged in a meaningful manner. It gives complete meaning. Phrases are group of words but it does not have complete sense or complete meaning in it, and also it will not have a verb in it. Sentence will have a verb in it. These are the difference between sentence and a phrase. Next, let us see the sentence patterns. So, there are mainly 3 sentence patterns in the English. Here, we'll have subject, verb and object. This is commonly used sentence pattern in English. Okay. What is subject? The noun part of the sentence in the beginning is the subject always. See, John. John is name of a person. Correct? It is a noun. That noun part in the beginning is always subject. But remember, sometimes this subject comes in the middle of the sentence. But you should be knowing who is the doer. Doer means who is doing that action. Okay, so that is important. That part in a sentence is subject. So, John is subject. Then, likes. What is likes? It is some action, right? So, likes is verb. John is noun. Likes is verb. And fruits is another noun now. I told you the noun part is subject, correct? But here, fruits is not the subject. Why? Because it is receiving. John is doer. John likes. What he likes? Fruits. Okay. So, this is the difference. This is subject, verb and object. It can be a noun, another noun, but it should be receiving. Then this pattern is called subject, verb, object pattern of sentence. Usually we use this in English. So, your text or whatever you read, usually that sentence form will be this subject, verb, object. Let us see another example. Manu drank milk. So, which is subject now? The noun part which is doing something, correct? So, which is noun or which is subject here? Manu is the subject, right? Then drank is an action. Drank milk. Drank is action. So, the action word is always verb. Then what did Manu drink? Manu drank milk, correct? So, milk is also a noun. It is name of a thing, but here it is received, correct? So, Manu is the doer and milk is the receiver. What did he do to the milk? He drank the milk, correct? So, Manu is doing something, milk is done by Manu something, right? So, milk is the object. Okay. Now, hope you have understood what is subject, verb, object pattern of sentence. Let us go next. Verb plus object. Here all the imperative sentences are in this format. That is verb plus object. There is no subject in these sentences. Let us see. Open the door. Imperative means command, order or request, right? Open the door is the command, is an order, right? Open the door. Where is noun? Noun is at the end. And open the door. Open is verb. So, verb is here. This is article. Open the door. It is the noun. So, door is the receiver now. Somebody has to open the door. Door is the receiver. So, door is object. Okay. Next, all the best. Okay. So, all the best here also, all is the commonly said all the best. So, here also verb plus object. Okay. Next sentence, please come in. Please is request, right? Please come in. Here also this is verb. Where to come? In. Okay. All the imperative sentences will be in this format. There will be no doer, only receiver will be there. Okay. Keep your phone on charge for hours. So this is a big sentence compared to these imperative sentences. But see, keep your phone. Keep is verb. Okay. Your phone on charge. All are receivers. Your phone on charge for hours. All this comes in the part of object in the sentence. So the whole is object. This is the second pattern of sentences, that is verb plus object pattern or sentence pattern. The other one is subject plus verb. Here there is no object. Let us see the example. He ran fast. He is there. He is a pronoun, noun or pronoun in the subject part. He is the subject. Okay. Ran is verb. Ran is verb. How did he run? Fast. Fast is the adverb here. How did he run? He ran fast. But where is the object? This is the adverb. Where is the object? If it was he ran to the office to the office would be the receiver. But that is not there. So there is no object in this sentence. This is only subject verb pattern of sentence. Then the lion roared. Lion is the subject. It is the doer. What did he do? He roared. At whom? He roared at the person. He roared at the other animal. That receiver is not there in this sentence, right? So it is subject plus verb pattern of sentence. These are the main three types of sentences in English. Now let us see what are transitive verbs. So we learnt that verb is an action word, and if it is doing something, subject and receiver must be there, right? Now let us see what are the different types of verbs. There are two main different types of verbs, transitive and intransitive. Firstly, we learn what is transitive verb. Main verb that take an object are known as transitive verbs. Main verb. I told you there in some sentences there were is, are, am, was, were, correct? All these are auxiliary verbs or helping verbs. So here we are talking about the main verb that take an object are known as transitive verbs. So the main verb has to take the object in it. Only then it is called as the transitive verb. Remember, object and main verb. So to remember what is transitive verb, you should remember these two terms, main verb and object. In a sentence, there should be a main verb and an object. Only then it can be the transitive verb. Definition for transitive verb is, a transitive verb is a verb that denotes an action which passes over from the doer or subject to an object. So what happens in a transitive verb? It passes over from the doer or subject to an object. So from the doer, the first part of the sentence, the noun part, from there it has to be received by the object. From subject to object, there should be something given and received. So doer will do something that should be received by object. Only then that verb in between subject and object will be the transitive verb. Here are some examples. Nayan plays the drums. Nayan is the subject part. Plays is verb. Is something received here. Nayan plays something. What is he playing? Drums. So drums is the receiver, object. So here object. If there is object in the sentence, only then this verb is called as transitive verb. Okay. One more example. I heard a noise. I is subject. Heard is action. I heard. So heard is verb. Now a noise. What did I hear? If I say only I heard, then it is subject and verb pattern of sentence. There is no object in this. But here in this example, there is object. I heard a noise. He heard something. What was that? That was the noise. So this is object. So in this sentence pattern, subject, verb, object is present. So this verb, the action word, is transitive verb. My mother cooks well. My is subject. My and mother both are subject. Cooks is action. So cooks is verb. How she cooks? She cooks well. Correct? So this is object. If there is object, this verb will become transitive verb. Hope you have understood what is transitive verb. Now let us move on to intransitive verb. Main verbs that do not take an object are called intransitive verbs. So very simple, transitive verbs will take or it is received by the object, and in intransitive verbs, the object will not receive. There will be action, there will be verb, but that will not be received by the object. So which pattern is here? This is subject plus verb. There is no object here. That kind of verbs, in those sentences, the verbs are intransitive verbs. Definition for intransitive verbs. An intransitive verb is a verb that denotes an action which does not pass over to an object. So it does not pass from subject to object. What subject is doing, to whom or to what, that is object, correct? So if object is not there in a sentence, then the verb in that sentence is intransitive verb. Okay, let us see some examples. Ram laughs. At whom he laughs? That is not there. Ram is the noun part, right? So this is subject and laughs is action. This is verb. Now in this, is there any object? At whom did he laugh? No, correct? So this pattern is called subject verb pattern of sentence, and the verb which do not pass to the object in the sentence is called as intransitive verb. Is it clear? Let us do two more examples. Sita is running. Where is she running? It is not mentioned. Sita is subject, running is the verb, correct? Where is she running? The object is not there, receiver is not there. Then this verb is said to be intransitive verb. Intransitive verb. Lakshman sleeps. So Lakshman is subject, sleeps is verb, right? Where he sleeps? Sleeps on the bed if it was there, sleeps on the rock if it was there, then it would be the object. Now here there is no object at all. So this verb is said to be intransitive verb. Hope transitive and intransitive verbs are clear now. Let me start that, or let me state that verbs used both as transitive and intransitive verbs are present in English. Let us see how it is used as both transitive and intransitive. The formula is very simple, that if there is object, then it is transitive. If there is no object after the verb, then it is intransitive. You know this, right? Now let us see some examples. Example for intransitive. The man walked slowly. Where did he walk? It is not there. The man is subject, walk is verb, slowly is actually the adverb used here, correct? There is no object left in the sentence. So this is intransitive. The verb walked is intransitive. Let us see in this sentence. The ringmaster walked the lion around the ring. So the ringmaster walked the lion around the ring. Here also the verb walked is there. Is there a receiver? Let us see. The ringmaster is the subject. Walked is verb. Right? The ringmaster walked the lion around the ring. The receiver is there. Correct? Ringmaster did something to the lion. Right? So the receiver is there. Then this part is called object of the sentence. As there is object in this sentence, the verb walked becomes the transitive verb. See the same word here, walked and walked. Here as there is no object, this remains as intransitive verb. Here there is object, so this becomes transitive verb. Okay. Let us see another example. The bird is flying. The bird is the subject part. Flying. Flying is action. So this is verb part. Is there any object here? No. Where is the bird flying? Don't know. That is not mentioned here. So the verb is now the intransitive verb. Let us see here. The same verb is used. The children are flying their kites. So the children is the subject part. Are is auxiliary verb. Flying is verb. Their kites. What are the children flying? There is receiver, right? What the children are doing? They are flying the kites. There is receiver, correct? Something is done to the kites. So the action, what it is done to the kites is mentioned here. So if there is an object, if there is a receiver, then that verb is said to be the transitive verb. Hope this is also clear now. Let us go to the next slide. There are some transitive verbs which are used as intransitive verbs. Okay, some transitive verbs only are used as intransitive verbs. Let us see through the example. She broke the vase. She is subject, broke is verb, correct? So what is broken? The vase. What did she do? Or who is the receiver? The vase, correct? So this is object. Here broke becomes the transitive verb. Okay. See, in this sentence, the vase was broken. The same is said, correct? But there is no receiver. The object becomes subject here. See the example. She broke the vase, correct? Here the subject, verb, object is there. And in this sentence, the subject, the vase is the subject. So from this sentence, object is brought to the place of subject. The vase was broken. Broken is verb. The vase is subject. Broken is verb. What? By whom or somebody should be there. No, something should be there after the verb. If nothing is there, then this verb is said to be intransitive verb. Okay. So these were all the examples for transitive and intransitive verbs. Now let us move on for some examples for both transitive and intransitive verbs. Heat expands metals. Heat. Okay. It is heat is noun used as noun here. Heat expands. What happens? Expands means verb. It is action. Heat expands metals. Heats is subject. Expands is verb. Metals is object. So the verb is transitive here. It is used transitively. Metals expand on heating. So what is done here? The object is brought to subject's place. Correct? So here what is object? That has become subject in this sentence. So metals expand is verb on heating. Correct? So the object has come to subject's place and subject has come to object's place. Metals expand on heating. Metals is subject. Expand on heating. Correct? There is no receiver here. Metal expands on heating. Heating is also a process. Correct? So this whole is the verb. Right? So in this sentence there is no object. There is no receiver. So here the verb is intransitive. Next, I spoke the truth. Spoke is the verb. I is subject. Truth is object. I spoke truth. I did something. I spoke something and that was truth. Doer and receiver both are present in this sentence. So the verb is used as transitive. Next, he spoke loudly. Loudly is adverb. It is not the object here. Correct? He is subject. Spoke is verb. Loudly is adverb. How did he speak? Loudly. So this is supporting the verb. There is no receiver. Correct? He spoke loudly to the old man. If that was the sentence, if there was to the old man in the sentence, then the old man would be the receiver, the object. There is no object in this sentence. So here the verb is intransitive verb. Next, How to distinguish between transitive and intransitive verbs? How will you know to distinguish, make the difference? That we'll be learning in this slide. How to determine whether a verb is a transitive or intransitive? See the sentence here. I walked to the school yesterday. Which is the verb? Walked. Correct? Walked is the verb. I is subject. To the school yesterday. Right? There are many words coming after the verb walked. So, do you think it is a transitive verb? What do you think? Is it a transitive verb? No, it is not a transitive verb because the phrase to the school is a prepositional phrase. Which is prepositional phrase to the school. Okay. So, that is not the object. And the word yesterday is an adverb. I walked. When did you walk? Yesterday. So, yesterday is adverb. It is supporting the verb. There is no object in this. There is only subject and verb. Then what type of verb it is? Yes, you are correct. This is intransitive verb. This is not transitive verb. Okay. Let us see a few more. With transitive verb with two objects, sometimes what happens, there will be two objects in a sentence. Subject, verb and two or more objects will be there. What to do at that time? Correct? That is your doubt now. Let us see. Transitive verbs with two objects make either the direct or the indirect object as the subject in passive voice. If there are two objects, again we differ it as direct object and indirect object. Direct object means directly who is receiving the action or who is receiving from the subject is direct, and if it is through the direct object, then it is called as indirect object. Teacher gave students a cake. Teacher is the subject, gave is verb, students is object. What did she give? She gave a cake. So, this is also object. We have two objects in this sentence, right? So, when we are changing it to passive voice, what happens? You can use either direct or indirect object. Teacher gave students. So, who is the direct receiver? Students. So, this is direct object. A cake. What did she give? Comes next. So, this is indirect object. So, when we are changing it to passive voice, that time a cake was given to the students by the teacher. See, the subject has become object and object has become subject in this sentence. A cake is object. Correct? So, this becomes subject here. Was given. Gave is there. Was given. Past participle form of the verb is used here. Was given is the verb and which is the receiver to the students. Correct? To the students is the object. By whom? By the teacher. There are two objects again. Okay. So, but here it depends which you use. Here you have the option like a cake was given to the students by the teacher, or you may start with students. Students were given a cake by the teacher. But remember that subject should become the object and object should become the subject, and always it will take the past form of verb here. It can be in the past form. If it is in the past form, then it will be the past participle. If it is in the present form, it will be in the past form. The tense will change when you are changing a sentence from active to passive. Whenever the voice is changed for a sentence, remember the tense also will slightly change. Students were given a cake by the teacher. Here, students has come first. This has become the subject. Were given is the verb and a cake is object. By the teacher is object. Okay. So, the only rule for active and passive voice which you have to remember always is subject verb object becomes object verb subject. Okay. The object of the active sentence will become the subject for passive sentence. The subject of active sentence will become the object of passive sentence. Here are some examples. I told her a story. She was told a story by me. Okay. See, the subject I becomes the object. Her becomes she, subject, correct? I told her a story. Told is the simple past form of the verb. Here was told, past participle is used. Okay, so this is what you need to do for active and passive voice when you are asked to change the voice. She gave a book to me. She is the subject, gave is verb, and a book to me. Here a book or to me. Here two objects are there. You can use either direct or indirect object first. You can make that as the subject. So let us see. A book was given to me by her, or I was given a book by her, whichever you wish to, but remember that the object should be the subject in passive form. So a book is the subject, was given is verb, to me by her is object. There are two objects in this sentence. One more, she wrote a letter to me. She is subject, wrote is verb, a letter to him. Letter and him both are object. A letter was written to him by her. Now, the letter which is object in the active voice will become the subject in passive voice. So, a letter is subject, was written. See, wrote is the past form of the verb write, but here was written. This is the past participle form. So, tense of the verb will change, and then to him. There are two objects here. To him by her. They remain as same, or you can change it to the other object also. So, these with the transitive verbs. Next, with prepositional verbs. Sometimes we will have prepositional verbs. While changing the sentence which has a prepositional verb from active to passive voice, the preposition should not be dropped as it is the part of the verb. So, what happens here? While changing the sentence with the prepositional verb, we are not supposed to drop the preposition. If we drop the preposition, then we will be missing a part of the verb. It is the part of verb. Preposition in prepositional verbs is part of it. So let us see the example. She laughed at her. She is subject, laughed is verb, her is the object, the receiver. At is the preposition. At is used with laughed, correct? So this is prepositional verb. At that time we are not supposed to emit or drop the preposition. See the passive form. She was laughed at by her. If you leave at here, then the sentence is incomplete. She was laughed by her. Sentence is incomplete. So you are not supposed to drop the preposition in a prepositional verb. Okay. This is the other rule you need to follow. Next, with auxiliary verbs. Be form. Be, been, being, correct? All these are called be forms. Be and the past participle is added while changing the modal auxiliary verbs into passive. Which are the modals? Like shall, should, can, could, may, might, must, ought. All these are modals. These are auxiliary modals in English. Okay. So when there are auxiliary modals in the verb part, then we add the word be and the past participle form is added. Let us see the example. You must read this book. You is subject, must is the modal, correct? It is the modal used here. Then read is verb, this book is object. Okay. If we change that, what will it happen? This book, see, the object becomes subject here. This book must be. What is added? Be form is added. Must be and read. This is not read. Here it is past tense. The spelling might be same, but here it is pronounced as read in the present tense and here it is pronounced as read as the past tense. The spelling is same, but the tense will change. This book must be read is the verb form. By you is the object. Okay. See, the subject becomes object. The object becomes subject. If there is modal in the sentence, then be form will be added and the verb will be in the past participle form. Okay. Let us see the other example. We should obey traffic rules. We is subject. Should is a modal. Obey is the verb here. Traffic rules is the object, is the receiver. Now, let us see the passive form. Traffic rules. The object has to become subject, right? So, traffic rules is subject. Should will be there. And what is the condition? We should add be form. Be to that sentence if there are modals in it, right? And the verb has to be in past participle. Is it done? Let us check. Traffic rules should be. Be has come with the modal, right? Now, till here, the sentence is correct. Obeyed. What is the past participle of obey? Obeyed. Correct? So, these two are correct. By whom? By us. So, this is the modal part with be and past participle of verb. Right? And this is the object. So, these are the rules when there are auxiliary modals. These are the modals. When there are auxiliary modals in the sentence, we add be to that, and also remember the tense should be past participle. The verb tense should be past participle. Next, rules to use while changing from passive to active. So, all these rules I told were from active to passive voice. What if you are asked to change from passive to active? See, to change the voice from passive to active, all the rules studied so far are just to be reversed. Only it has to be reversed. I told you subject becomes object, object becomes subject, correct? So, you have to reverse it. Again, the object here will become the subject and subject will become the object in active voice. English is taught to us by Mr. Peter Daniel. This is passive form, correct? So, here English is subject, is taught is verb and Mr. Peter Daniel is object. How to change? Same. The object has to become subject here. Mr. Peter Daniel, correct? Object became subject. Taught. Here the tense was past, but here it will be present. Taught becomes teaches. So, complete reverse of active and passive voice rules to be followed here. Teaches is the verb, then English subject becomes object. Okay, see, subject, object, it is interchanged when you are changing the voice. It is same for active and passive voice, but the tense, remember, tense will be present here if it is past. The meeting was presided over by the chairman. This is a passive sentence. The meeting is subject, was presided is verb, by the chairman is object, correct? So, reverse. What will you do? Object will become subject. The chairman has become subject now. Was presided, it is in the past participle form. Now, it will become only past. Okay, simple past is a verb form. The meeting, the subject here becomes the object of active sentence. So, it is exact reverse of active voice to passive voice. If you are asked to change from passive to active, what you have to do? You have to remember the rules of active voice changing to passive voice. You have to reverse it. Okay. So, this is as simple as active voice. Then, let us have a glance at the rules. The active subject becomes passive and is placed as the object that you have learned. The object of the active verb now becomes the subject of the passive verb. In case of the sentence having an auxiliary verb, it is modified and copied down. So, if there are auxiliary verbs, is, are, was, were, all these are auxiliary verbs, right? If it is there, we need to modify a little according to the tense and we need to copy it. We are not supposed to omit or drop the auxiliary verb. We need to use it. In sentences without an auxiliary, a form of be is used to mark the tense. So, you know, be forms, be, been, being, correct? All those are the be forms. If there is no auxiliary verb, then be forms are used to mark the tense. Make a note here. See, being is the progressive. Okay, progress means continuous tense. ing is used for continuous tense, correct? Being is used for progressive or continuous tense. Then been is used for perfect. It can be present, past or future. Been is used for perfect tense. And is, am, are for present tense, and was, were for past tense. Okay, this is what you need to note here. And the third form of the verb is the sentence. In the sentence is used. So, the third form is used here. The verb form will be the third form of the verb. In an order, a request or an instruction, the passive occurs in the unseen part of the sentence. So, if it is a request or instruction like bring the book, close the door, open the window, here you are not supposed to change it to passive. Passive is unseen here. You can't say to open the door, door open, correct? You can't change subject verb there because the pattern, the sentence pattern is different. There is no object, correct? And the verb is intransitive there. So, you need not change it to passive. It will remain the same. That is, I request you, I order you, I instruct you, etc. Here, you cannot change it to passive voice. The main sentence given in the problem remains unchanged and is reported as an infinitive. Such sentences are called as infinitive. Okay, they can be in active voice, but you cannot change it to passive voice. Such sentences are called as infinitive. Okay, there it will remain the same. If such sentences are given, the imperative sentences, commands or requests are given in your examination, please don't crack your head, don't try to change it to passive voice. It remains the same. They are called infinitive. You can write infinitive sentence before that. Okay. Yes, this is all we studied today. How to change the voice from active to passive. To learn that, we learned what is a sentence, what is a phrase, what are the types of verbs, transitive and intransitive verb, how they interchange, subject, object, verb, correct? The sentence patterns, subject, verb, object, and the rules for changing active voice to passive voice and passive voice to active voice as well. Hope you have understood this well. Good luck. Thank you.